Hello, welcome back to my channel where we discuss the MCC Laws of Cricket. Today I'm doing a fresh recording of Laws 13, Laws 14 and Laws 15 because of some sound issues. We will be discussing today Law 13 Innings, Law 14 the follow on and Law 15 Declaration and Forfeiture. To begin with the Law 13 Innings. The law tells us something which is quite obvious, that we all know that a match is played between two teams. It can be, according to agreement, it can be a match of one innings or of two innings. And it is also possible, for the law allows that the innings may be restricted by overs or by time. Limited by overs or by time. We see less of time limitations nowadays, but overs limited matches we see are there all over the place. And the law says that in a one innings match the limit will apply to both innings, because it is quite in the fairness of things that they should be equally applied. And if it is a two innings match, you have the players have the option, teams have the option to have the limit applied to only the first innings, or to only the second innings, or to both the innings. That is up to them, and they can have different limits for those. The law allows the players complete freedom to do what they will. But additionally, when such limits are applied and separate rules are made, and where a result by runs or by wickets is not possible, that we have seen that the scores are not passed, the crossed, the target scores, there is no result really. Then in that case, the rules must also state how a result now has to be arrived at. We've seen this being done in many playing conditions over the years. Different methods are used for this, but if the laws have then no answer to it. So the answer to who wins this game is to be provided by the rules themselves. We also know 13.2 tells us that the innings in a two innings match, the innings will be taken alternately. Side A bats first, then side B, then again side A, and again side B, which is the general rule. But there are two exceptions to it. One exception is where one of the sides has forfeited its innings, chooses to forfeit its innings, then naturally the other side takes its innings consecutively. The second is, now there is a separate law 15 for this, we will discuss this. Secondly, when there is a case of a follow-on, again law 14 provides a provision for a follow-on where in certain conditions the batting side captain has captain has the option to ask the other side to bat again, in which case that alternate general order of alternately taking innings will not apply. Here what is important for us to know, in now law 13.3 we come to an important provision. What is a completed innings is what this law describes. It says that when a side is all out, there are some of these things are very obvious. When a side is all out, the innings is a completed one, which is obvious. When a side declaration is done by a captain, that is a completed innings. That can't be revived. He can't say that I batted for only 5. You completed your innings. You've chosen to complete it. Or where the is forfeited by the captain. He says, I don't want to play. You go ahead and play. Details about both these things, declaration, forfeiture, like I said, will follow very soon. In the case of innings limited to number of overs and period of time, an innings is concluded when that number of overs is finished. Or similarly, the time 90 minutes is set for that particular innings when that time limit expires. Whatever may be the position of wickets and all that, the side is not all out and all that, the innings is deemed to have be completed. Here we come to a very important provision, which is 13.3.2, upon which I left for the end because it needs there is some need to elaborate upon this particular aspect. Now the law says that where a wicket falls or a batter retires, further balls remain to be bowled, but no further batter is available to come in. In that case, it will be taken as a completed innings. Like for instance, we are approaching lunchtime, and about 4 minutes before, 5 minutes before lunchtime, the ninth wicket uh, falls. They already had a batsman who was injured and is sitting in the pavilion nursing his wounds, and he is entitled to bat. But when 5 minutes before lunchtime we find that the ninth wicket has fallen, and the next batsman is expected to come in. Now we have got 5 minutes left, we have got some deliveries left, we have got at least 2 overs to go perhaps. There are deliveries to go, but there is no batter ready to play, able to come in and play, take his position. In that case, the innings will be treated as a completed innings. We will apply the lunch interval here and come back and resume. And this batsman, of course, even if he is recovered, cannot come and bat. The innings is concluded. He cannot come and bat. Similarly, towards this can happen any time during the match, not necessarily close to an interval. But say for instance, it is somewhere near the close of the match. One example, it is the last over of the match, 2 deliveries to go, and we are at the end of the match. 2 deliveries to go, ninth wicket falls, and the batsman who was injured is unable to. The scores are equal. The scores are equal, and the next batsman is unable to come and take his position here. Here, the last innings will be treated as a concluded innings, a completed innings, and the result, of course, will be a tie. Since we know that the last innings is completed, we'll see this in the result. This is a tie. But suppose some deliveries, it happened to be the last ball and the ninth wicket fell. There were no deliveries to play. Certainly no batsman can come into play. But there are no deliveries left. Now this will be an incomplete innings, and therefore with the scores being equal, that will be a draw. Now this is one important provision, like I said, that a somewhat tricky one, which has to be remembered by umpires. Going on, the law tells us something about the toss. Now the captain shall toss a coin on the field of play for the choice of innings. Why is this toss done? For the choice of innings. And it shall be done by flipping a coin on the field of play. It has to be done on the field of play. Cannot be done in the pavilion. It has to be a public event, and at least the least they can do is step into the boundary. They don't want to go towards the pitch, which is there. Generally, that is where it is held. They must at least step onto the field of play and do it within the boundary. This must be done in the presence of one or both umpires. One or both umpires should be present there, and there is a time frame for it. Now, if it has to be done within 30 minutes, not earlier than 30 minutes from the scheduled or rescheduled start of play, and not later than 15 minutes before the scheduled or rescheduled start of play. To take an example, if the game is scheduled to be played at 10 o'clock, they cannot make the toss before 9:30 a.m., nor should it be done after 9:45 a.m. That would be late. And I understand some playing conditions also. I got some feedback on a chat, group chat, that they have a rule that the captain who doesn't come in time for the toss forfeits the toss, and the other captain they have an additional rule there. Now, suppose you have come to this game first thing in the morning, and it is a rainy day, and you feel that the match is delayed, the start will be delayed. You inspect, and after a while you decide that yes, 1 p.m. we will start. In that case, the toss will take place 30 minutes prior and 15 minutes prior to this, the same time frame, but from the rescheduled announced start of the game. One more important thing is that once the decision of the captain is notified to the other captain and to the umpires, it cannot be changed. There used to be a provision earlier which was used to be called pocketing the toss, and the the captain winning the toss could delay his decision till 10 minutes prior to the start. He can no longer do so. He has to inform his choice immediately whether to bat or bowl, and this cannot be changed once it is done. There is no scope for him to go inside and consult and then give his decision. He should be ready with his decision either way, and he should communicate it immediately. And once done, it will not be changed. It cannot be changed. We have seen other decisions also, like the decision to declare, decision to forfeit. All of these also, once communicated, cannot be changed. This applies across the board. This finishes law 13. Now we come to law 14, the follow-on. We all know that the innings of each side are taken alternately, one after the other. Side A will bat, then side B will bat, then side A will bat, and side B will bat. But as I said, that one of the exceptions to this general rule is that under certain circumstances, a side can be asked to follow their innings. Now, for example, a side has scored 500 runs in a 5-day game, 500 runs in a 5-day game. The other side has scored 250 runs. Now, there is a lead of 250 runs available here. In such circumstances, for a 5-day match, the rule is for 200 runs. We'll come to the different leads which are there for depending on the duration of the match. And the captain of the side which is now leading has the option to ask side B to follow their innings. In that case, side B will play their innings consecutively. It is a deviation from the rule of alternately playing their innings. The rules say that for a 5-day match, 5-day and more, match of duration 5 days or more. We have seen 6 days test matches also. So the rule says 5 days and more is the duration. 200 is the lead that the captain has to have in order to enforce the follow-on. And for a match which is 3 or 4 days duration, the lead is 150 runs. If the match is of 2 days duration, the lead is 100 runs. 2-day match, 100 runs. And in a 1-day match, that lead will be 75 runs. This is how it works. And I must stress that this is an option. It is not a compulsion that the other side must bat again. It is only at the option of the side which has obtained the lead. He can ask the other side to bat again. He will communicate this to the captain and the opposing captain and to the umpires, and this decision then will not be changed. It is done and it is set. Now, we have seen very often that the captains, in certain depending on the circumstance, situation in the game, do not exercise this option and then carry on and bat themselves, and they may later on do a declaration and put the other side win. Perhaps the pitch is not very good, and maybe he doesn't want to bat last, bat fourth on that particular surface. He would rather have the other team, he has the bowlers to exploit those conditions. We have seen that happen quite often. Like I said, you must notify the decision, but it cannot be changed. Now, there is something tricky about this particular law, which all umpires must appreciate and know for implementation. The law says that now we start with a 5-day game. Now, the law says that if no play takes place on the first day of a match of more than 1 day's duration, Law 14.1 of follow-on shall apply in accordance with the number of days remaining from the start of play. For example, I said with a 5-day game, day 1 no play at all takes place. And day 2 we may play at 4 p.m. We may start the game at 4:30 p.m. only for half an hour. But play has started on day 2, therefore day 2 will count, day 1 will not count. It will be deemed to be a 4-day match, and the limit, the follow-on lead that is required to enforce a follow-on will be reduced from 200 to 150, because now it is a 4-day match for the purpose of this particular law. Remaining, a day's play lost subsequent to the first day. Now, for example, we have already started play on day 1 and 2 days play are lost thereafter. Day 2 and day 3 are lost in this 5-day game that we are talking about. The game still remains a 5-day game for the purposes of this law, and 200 runs will be the lead for enforcing the follow-on. This is something we must all appreciate and understand. There is something else which is tricky. When does the when is it deemed that play has taken place on any day of the match? The law says that as soon as play is called and the first over has started. Please understand, as soon as play is called, so just calling play doesn't mean that game has commenced. As soon as play is called and the first over commences. Now a quick look at law 17 tells us when an over commences. When an over commences, there is a cross reference here given in this law as well. When the first over commences is the over commences, any over commences in when the bowler starts his run up to deliver the first ball, or if he has no run up, he is just standing astride, he is an old man, he is just standing astride the bowling crease and then starts bowl his action with initial starts his action, either of the two things. We see that the latter is quite rare, but generally it is that when the bowler starts his run up to deliver the first ball, that over is commenced, and therefore play has taken place on that day, regardless of the fact that a ball has not been delivered. This is something that is to be appreciated and understood. And to do that, we can talk about discuss a few examples here. Discuss a few examples like the umpire has come in and the field is set and it's a rainy day, cloudy day, and he calls play. He calls play. But the bowler is not yet ready to bowl, and he the rains come in. If that happens, and they go in, so naturally play has not commenced. Play has been called, not commenced. Now let's take that example a little further. The umpire has called play, and the bowler has taken 2 steps into his run up and stops because he notices that he's got a loose bootlace. He bends down to tie his bootlace, and that is when it rains, and we have to now rush in. Now this day the over has commenced and play has taken place technically on day 1. Therefore this day will be counted for the purpose of, so your 5-day game remains a 1-day game. And suppose on the run up the bowler has been stopped for some reason, or it has rained on his run up, we stop play. Play has taken place on day 1. This is how this particular regulation works. This is how this, and it is to be appreciated and applied this way. Alright. Coming to declaration and forfeiture law 15. After sides innings have commenced, they have started batting. The captain alone has that right to declare the innings closed at any time during the match. At any time during the match, but only when the ball is dead. You must remember, it is at any time during the match, but only when the ball is dead. This, of course, as we learnt in the previous law, will be considered as a completed innings. Now, only when the ball is dead, I can give an example where the captain happens to be on the ground, he is the striker or the non-striker, and one of the batters hits the ball away and it is just about to be caught at deep cover. And he says, I declare is what he says. We will not be able to allow that declaration, accept that declaration, and we will allow matters to settle down. And depending on whether the ball has been caught or not, whatever case, when the ball becomes dead, then he needs to tell us that I declare, and then we can go in. We'll accept that declaration only then. But this declaration made while the ball is in play is not within the rules and will not be acceptable to us. Forfeiture of the innings applies. That means that a captain may forfeit his innings at any time before the commencement of their innings. Of course, it has to be before it is not started, otherwise it would be a declaration. A forfeit shall be considered a completed innings. Now, these things we have already learned that these are both completed innings. And again, it is reiterated here that in case it is once notified, it cannot be changed. The notification cannot be changed. So here we finished our discussion on these three laws, and we will go ahead in the next episode. We'll be talking about the result. Bye for now.